Let's dance! I'm Max Garcia, and just recently Apple held their WWDC keynote. Or in this year, with all this pandemic stuff, it was a pre-recorded video, although it definitely had that Apple touch. And in WWDC, every single year, Apple talks about how in a couple months, all of these minor to major features are going to roll out to the majority of their Apple devices. And this year we got iOS 14, macOS Big Sur, another version of iPad OS, watchOS 7. But most people care about iPhone OS, which that wasn't the name, it's iOS 14. So let's just roll a quick TikTok with a couple of the features.
Apple announced iOS 14 today. Here's everything you need to know in 30 seconds. A main feature of the update are new home screen widgets, which are customizable and can be placed anywhere on the home screen. Apple also created an app library that groups together all of your apps by category. When editing your home screen, you can now hide or show individual app pages. Siri has been updated to not take up the entire screen when active. This is one of my favorite new features. When someone calls you, it will not take up the entire screen. When typing, you can now search for an emoji. iOS 14 is compatible with iPhone 6s and later and will release this fall.
That was a pretty good short video, and I'll talk about those features a little bit more in a little bit. But since Apple is the #1 tech company, usually on Twitter and just general social media, most of their product launches get some meme feedback. So whether that be AirPods, like toothbrushes, or the iPhone triple camera system looking like a crockpot stove, or now with all these Android users said, oh, I've had these features for years. Yes, Android users, you've had these features for years. Talking about widgets. Oh, a specific dock that's not your home screen. Crazy. Picture in picture, but companies copy off each other, and Apple adding these three main features to their devices is only going to benefit millions of people. Not to mention that an iPhone SE is going to be receiving iOS 14. How great is that? And talking about picture in picture, that's when you could consolidate a video that you're watching, not to just take up the full screen. So whether you're watching a Netflix show or an Apple TV Plus, if you have that platform, or like let's say a Twitter video and you want to go from that Twitter video to something searching up on Safari, or watching whatever and you want to do something else, it's true multitasking with picture in picture. That you can move it around, you can move it away from the screen and just hear the audio on the iOS 14. I don't have it just yet, but I'm planning to put it on my iPhone SE because why not? I'm probably going to get the iPhone 12 in the near future. And talking about this dedicated dock system that's not your home screen, it's kind of different than Android in that it's not on like the bottom of the screen. You have to scroll all the way to the right, and then it has dedicated genres of kind of like these big folders that you can't really manipulate. Like has recently added kind of suggestion, and then it has like photography, social media, like food, random categories that you can't really choose, but you could remove the apps off your home screen and just put them there. So if you don't use an app too often, let's say McDonald's or Starbucks, or like an airplane app like Southwest Airlines or United, and you don't really use that too much, but you just want to keep it downloaded on your phone, because why not? Just keep it in that app layers over there. You could do that too. And the most feature I'm hyped about is those widgets. You kind of have widgets on the iPad right now, but they're just not too useful at all and just not intuitive. But with this iOS 14, so far they're looking pretty good. And yes, you do have widgets on Android. They just, for me, they don't look too appealing, and I'm sure they already look like they had the Apple Touch, that it's just going to be convenient and look pleasant to the eyes. That's what Apple does very well. And picture widgets and this dedicated app dock all come from Android, but Apple is making them better, tweaking it a little bit to match the overall iPhone experience. And you have other cool features, like now when you get incoming call, it's way smaller. Siri is a way smaller thing. You got cool updates to messages, whether that be you could pin conversations or search for emojis, or now you have a mask for the meme emoji. And another cool feature that is only for the like super recent phones with the super premium hardware is like double tapping or triple tapping on the back for that to do something, whether that be a Siri shortcut or doing some other task. I really do like iOS 14. Talking about watchOS 7, not too many of some big adjustments. I forgot to mention that watchOS 7 adds sleep tracking, and that is huge. I've been waiting for sleep tracking for so long, and I'm so excited that Apple brought it to all Apple Watches, or most of them. All right, get back to the video. Because they said they added dance as a workout, but dance is already on here as a workout. I'm pretty sure they're just adding more like data behind that workout so it could be a little bit more accurate. They're adding a little thing that when you wash your hands, we're using kind of the microphone to pick up like the sound of water and just the general gesture of washing your hands. It's gonna pop up like 20 seconds, like do 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 do. Oh, you washed your hands correctly. The sign of the times. There's also you can now share Apple Watch layouts, which is kind of neat. And you could also have like a dedicated watch face for certain apps. So you could share watch faces and just have a whole dedicated watch face to, let's say, like Nike Run Club, for whole Nike Run Club geek, or maybe like you're a surfer or something else. Apple Watch apps not too useful, so let's really see the usefulness of this. But watchOS 7 is there. macOS Big Sur is kind of like this overall tweak to the UI, just changing the way things look, like icons. They're gonna have different shadowing, different coloring, different layering, bunch of different visual tweaks. Not that much of a groundwork tweak, although now you get like this beautiful control center. You can put some widgets. macOS Big Sur looks interesting. It looks way more of a modern macOS that now brings it up to date with the iPhone and the iPadOS. Talking about iPadOS, you can now scribble on certain things like websites. The Apple Notes app by itself is getting an updated thing, so you can now copy and paste text. And I've been waiting for a little update to the Apple Notes basic app because it was super lacking, leading Notability and Good Notes to just have this overall advantage. And now Apple Notes is a couple things better, but Notability and Good Notes, they have their lead. And that's really it for WWDC. No hardware that was talked about at WWDC, so no AirTags, no smaller HomePod, nothing with the Macs or new iPad or new iPhones, Apple Watches. Those all usually come later anyways. No, like Apple Studio headphones, which was interesting. I was kind of expecting that too. Just software at this event, and it was done nicely. And you also have to talk about how for MacBooks, Apple is switching away from Intel processors to their own in-house iPhone processors, which is not only going to save money for them and it just helps the overall self-sufficiency, it's going to help Apple dedicate performance to the MacBooks and just tweak every single little thing, which is always great. We want superior performance in our products thanks to that competition, and that just shows how good Apple has been working on their iPhone chips. It is just every single year, a year ahead of those Android counterparts from Qualcomm. So now we're getting iPhone chips in MacBooks starting kind of in a year or two. We're going to start seeing them out in the wild, and I'm sure it'll just get better and better over time. Because like that, I forget the law with computing that like every 2 years processing speed also gets better, like 2 times. Some law like that. We're getting really to a peak where it's just like insane performance in these tiny, tiny chips. Anyways, thank you for watching. Make sure you listen. Peace out.